loved you, and I looked into your acid eyes, into your acid eyes. I never told you I loved you. I never told you I loved you, and I looked into your acid eyes, into your acid eyes.
We are live.
We are live.
We are live.
Yes.
Yeah, and you're. I mean, for the keen observer, for the regular viewer, they'll notice that you're in a different locale.
I am indeed. I'm not surrounded by beautiful guitars, or indeed hideous guitars, for that matter. I'm with my mum's. She's just. I'm at my mum's. She's just
Hi, buddy.
after having had a hip replacement. So
All the best to Mum.
oops, I didn't mean to put that on.
That was nice. That was
So
nice.
on the display here. Click on them to showcase in the stream. So unfortunately,
That was like when Joe Biden says, "Repeat sentence and look serious."
it was a bit like that, wasn't it? So welcome everybody to that album. And this week, well, you all know the score by now. Each week
There might be some new viewers.
There might be some new viewers. So for the benefit of the new viewers, although you haven't listened in the 150 times we've told it before, Eric and I used to debate good albums and chat about music over text and Slack in the evenings. And we thought, why don't we debate that? Thanks,
Very classy.
Yeah, well, why don't we debate this in the public domain, and you can all join in and have fun with it. So every week, one of us comes forward with an album and says, "I'd like to review this," and we've had varying degrees of success, haven't we? We've had breathtakingly inspirational times when we've gone to albums that we knew and realised that in fact we haven't even scratched the surface.
Yeah.
And then we've had other things where we knew it was going to be a breathtaking good album, and it was a bit meh. And we've had stuff where War of the Worlds was fingernails on a blackboard for you, wasn't it?
Dreadful.
OK Computer was fingernails on a blackboard for me.
Dreadful for you, yeah.
And in fact, I think it's really interesting that often with music, you've got, it's an epiphany, it's a moving thing, and we had a bit of that the week before last. Often it's really good. I've enjoyed that. You've opened my eyes about this. I'm really enjoying this. Sometimes it's oh, I didn't like that very much.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just hideous, isn't it?
Hello, Andy Brody. So we did a poll for our anniversary show, which was last week, and the lovely listeners chose Dark Side of the Moon, and we gave that a bloody good go. And we thought there were moments of epicness and moments of true innovation, but a bit of a heavy listen. Like I'm in such a good mood, I'm going to stick on Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah, said nobody ever.
So when we finished that show, hi Peter, we are reviewing. Last night I suggested that we review a brand new album. It came out they came out this year. I think it was July. No, it was May, and it's 1st of July. 1st of July this year, and it's Last Night in the Bittersweet, the fourth album by Scottish singer from Paisley, the pride of Paisley, no less, Paulo Nutini. But Paulo actually talks like that. He doesn't. There's no Italian.
There's no that Italian rubbish in this.
Absolutely. So this is Adam's been away listening to this. I don't know if you were very much into Paulo Nutini before.
No, as I have hinted in my title for this particular one, it always reminded me of like an Italian hazelnut spread.
Yes, Nutini.
The name. And to be frank, I didn't even know he was Scottish.
Right.
So
amazing.
I had heard, because one of the things that I found really interesting about delving into this album is that sometimes he's singing and he sounds like anyone else singing, that you might expect in the hit parade.
Yep.
And in my notes, as I've listened to the tracks, I've referenced this guy a couple of times. Sometimes he sounds like Dick Gaughan singing.
Yep.
Like
literally
a really thick, rich Scottish brogue,
Incredible.
and very proud to be Scottish. And that was a revelation to me. Oh, he's Scottish. Interesting.
Interesting. Iron Sky, my goodness. So I've known of Paulo. I can't say I've been a huge fan of Paulo. He's done hey, I got my new shoes on, and all very nice. You know, I didn't hate him. Then Iron Sky, Caustic Love. I think it out 2014. His album came out, and I turned around and went, "What is he doing?" So getting more serious, getting way more deep, way more musical, way less commercial or commercially driven. All albums are commercial, right? So he releases this after an 8-year hiatus. An 8-year. He usually waited 3-4 years between albums. 8 years he waited between Caustic Love and this. Last Night in the Bittersweet is his 4th album. It came out on Atlantic Records, 1st of July 22. 2 songs from the album, Through the Echoes and Lose It, were jointly released on the 11th of May. It boasts 16 songs. It's a big old listen. We're going to have to crack on, or just keep the excerpts kind of short. It's not just, for me, not just his most vocally striking, but his most musically ambitious. He's thrown off the chains of, there was a time on some of the earlier albums that you could tell that Paulo was being forced down a sort of like this horrible term, I hate it, blue-eyed soul kind of route, they call it, blue-eyed soul, the genre. So yeah, described as R&B and soul. He's got this. He's in this. It's funny. He's in blue-eyed soul, the category, which I think is a horrific reference for anyone. Why is it? Why is it not just soul? Why does it have to have a sort of race-related prefix on it? But anyway, now he's just making the music he wants to make. So you will hear on this, which I find quite baffling. It's almost like he's come out of the chains of people wanting him to be a certain thing. Now he's going to experiment with lots of different genres, and eventually, I think we're still to hear what Paulo is at his core.
Right. It's really interesting that you should say that. So I came to this with a completely open
mind.
And I listened to it, and I had heard some of his songs on the radio previously and hadn't particularly gelled with them. That's not to say that I disliked them, because in no way did I dislike them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they were very listenable, lovely voice, you know, good songwriter, good stuff, but not enough for me to say, oh, I think I'll buy his album. Mm-hmm. As an aside, he's 35 years old. Who knew? Yeah. I mean, I thought he was 17 still. So that was a bit of a shock. I've listened to this album, and one of my comments was, I think he's still searching.
Still hasn't found what he's looking for.
Baroque style.
Yeah.
So what I said was, overarching, I was really impressed by his range of style and influences.
Well, we haven't had is it actually that? Is it Caustic Love, or is
it?
No,
no. It's not that.
Not that.
But equally, it's not that. It's kind of it's
a kind of that.
Yeah, it's batting better than average.
I'm taking it.
And you should, you know, and I'm glad that you put this one forward, because I think it is a really interesting album.
It is.
I found that there was a bit of the kind of, and we've had this with a couple of other albums before. There was a bit of the kind of, oh, that sounds just like, oh, that sounds just like.
Yeah, and you will hear heavy soul, 60s, 70s beach music. Jock rock, you'll hear Mogwai, Arab Strap, Bell and Sebastian, Jesus and Mary Chain, you'll hear Otis Redding, Al Green, a bit of James Taylor, a bit of Bert Jansch maybe chucked in there, some Joni Mitchell, a bit of Beatles, or whatever artist they're ripping off for their music. They sounded a bit like that. You'll hear a bit of krautrock, a bit of, there's so much stuff going on in here.
Yeah, generally I would say it was quite a retro sounding album, which I like. Also, I would say he clearly is very influenced by Americana.
Oh, big time.
You know, so lots of this is the kind of thing that you might find at a local American music festival. And no worse because of that. That's not criticism. That's an observation. It was interesting to read that in his early career, he supported the Rolling Stones, Amy Winehouse, and Scotland's finest female singer of all time, Katie Tunstall.
Yeah.
The doyen of the loop pedal.
I think I would argue it's Liz Fraser, but I'll put her up there. Katie's great. Katie is pretty special.
Yeah, but I did find that because clearly he has a very broad vocal range in a way that he can do different styles.
Get the phone, Mum.
Yeah, get the phone, Mum. It's because he can do different styles and things. I have found myself kind of spotting the style. Oh, this sounds like. Oh, this sounds like. Oh, this sounds like. Which in some ways has been a little bit disconcerting, really.
Yeah, I understand. Nutini, born in Paisley. His I found the songs to be really good, but I'm not sure 100%
I thought he was born in Barga and came to Paisley.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, what happened in that man's life? Because Paisley.
Yeah, I've been to Barga and I've been to Paisley.
Yeah,
and
which one would you
that makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Yeah. So that comment from Yayan, I found the songs to be really good, but I'm not 100% sure it works as an. But what does work as an album?
Sorry?
What does work as an album? Oh, an album that I'd play from start to finish. Right, okay, he's qualified it, I get it. An album that I'd play from start to finish, which is really funny because I play this from start to finish, like all the time. That's the beauty of life, right?
I get that you would, because it's got that variation. It's like a smorgasbord, like a buffet of different styles. So I get that, but I don't think it has the cohesion of a great album.
So we've yet to get his magnus opus, do you think, where he finds it?
Undoubtedly. And I think part of that is going back to our earliest. Good point.
Good point.
Back to our earlier comment that he's still searching for his style. And I think that that's the really important thing here. He's playing with different skill sets that he has whilst he's looking for that. Okay, here's what I'm going to hang my hat on. And some people, they find it really early. So Keane would be a good example of that. We said about Keane, from the moment that the first song starts, you go, okay, that's got their signature. By contrast, greater than Keane by a mile, Joni Mitchell, every album that she brought out was markedly different from the previous one. So she spent her whole life developing and hunting for her style. And Madonna would be another example of the same. So totally. I don't think it's a bad thing. It's just an observation, isn't it?
It's an observation. Absolutely right. For me, it kind of works for my personality because I do find with Keane, for instance, and I think I said it was a bit like, I like chocolate cake, but I don't just want to eat a whole one. I like a bit of variation. This album starts with a very odd track, and it's put right up top. It's called Afterneath. And it's a bit of a, how would you describe Afterneath?
I would describe it as listening to either Zucchero,
right,
which would be the Tuscan influence,
or
Robert Plant singing.
So I got definitely Robert Plant, 100% Robert Plant. This is like Led Zeppelin warming up. But there's Mogwai in there, for those that know Mogwai. The Arab Strap thing. Quentin Tarantino is listed as one of the writers because he samples Patricia Arquette's speech at the end of True Romance, and he actually wrote to Quentin Tarantino personally, ended up on a Zoom call with him and said, I'm from Scotland, I really love True Romance, it means a lot to me, and that speech that Patricia gives at the end, I'd love to use in my film. And he went, yeah, we'll just do it. And he's famous for not allowing you to do that, but he did it, and that's pretty cool. So this is Afterneath, a bit of a sonic scape. I don't know, it's interesting. You're so cool.
That is a whole lot of love, isn't it? Way down inside.
Yeah, never stand in the front row at Mogwai next to the speaker. That's a fate worse than your blood running out your head. I've had it. We're liquidized. See Robert Plant in a little short denim waistcoat, flares.
Chaos of that day. What a
Blouse.
Yeah.
And all I could smell was the violence in the air. I look back and am amazed that my thoughts were so clear and true. That 3 words.
But you must also get that there's a certain Senzanadana going on in that.
Yeah.
You're so cool. You're so cool. You're so cool.
Bass players are out.
You're so cool.
I got your call on a red telephone.
Arab Strap, anyone?
I was laid out still beside the ashtray, trying to save a memory of you and me and a better time.
A better time.
Suddenly our madness was there for all the world to see. Carnage and goodnight despair. A deep dive into an open mind on the lost highway of the caustic night.
Right, okay, Robert Plant. A bit more reserved, I'd imagine.
And then after leaving
Yeah.
Neon Motel,
Oh, he's worn his voice out, hasn't he?
Yeah, totally. Totally.
let's knock 'em all down.
So that builds and evolves, and there's layers and layers and layers. A really interesting piece of music in that kind of Iron Sky, but less of a tune, more of a kind of tribute to that little speech. You're so cool.
Yeah, reading about him, obviously he's not somebody that's particularly talented because his voice isn't very good, and he only plays bass guitar, acoustic guitar, electric guitar, piano, synthesizer, and organ.
Writes his own songs and didn't have a particularly deep education. Was actually destined to go and work in the fish and chip restaurant Castelvecchi's and has become this muso.
Yeah,
Pretty amazing.
outstanding stuff.
So that opens with that kind of weird track. Yeah, I agree. It's a bit of I would say a tribute rather than a rip-off, but it's right in that Arab Strap, Malcolm Middleton kind of spoken Scottish word, and then you walk in the room and you sit down and I don't like you. There's a whole heap of that subculture going on. And then we're into track 2. What did you think of track 2, Radio?
Nice, very very tuneful.
Yeah.
This kind of reminded me a little bit of Chris Isaak,
Ah,
in
right,
terms of the
yeah.
texture of it.
Yeah.
It was interesting reading about Nutini that every single day since he was 16,
He's been in the Blazing Squad.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is probably why A, it took 8 years to do this album, and B, it's lacking in focus because he's constantly kind of.
I'll take the Mora. It's only been a couple of weeks since I put my last one out. No, it's been 8 years, Paulo. 8 years.
I'll do it tomorrow.
I'll do it tomorrow. This is Radio. Beautiful little song.
Put your faith in something beautiful. Sell your reflection to the traveling show. We leave ourselves a lot to answer for. I've left myself and now I wanna go home. And up there in your tree house, pigs and politicians go bump in the night. It'll take more than a Superman to make us think that everything's alright. There's nothing on the radio. They're all talking like they're falling in love. There's nothing on the radio. And then it hits me like a fist from above. I'm singing, I want love. I want love. I want love.
highly recommend this track if you're walking through the woods. I went out for a walk, and a section of my walk goes through woods, and this was delightful with the sun coming through the leaves. Perfect.
One of the things that I do love about him is that he sings in a Scottish accent.
Oh, I know. It's brilliant.
I find that really charming because obviously America is such a powerhouse in music that often British artists sing in an American accent. And I think that's very disingenuous. And I love the fact that he's got pride in his culture and his upbringing. I love it.
Yeah, and it's not been here for that long. I mean, Jerry Cinnamon sings in his broad Scots accent. Simon from Biffy Clyro, you can tell he's kind of well spoken anyway, but you can tell he's Scottish when he's doing his thing. Paulo definitely.
Mon the Biff.
Mon the Biff, yes, Mon the Biff, yeah. Crossing the streams here, be careful. So that's a beautiful little song. It's the second song, and then we're into a song which is a high ranker for me. I thought this was a peach.
I agree. I really like this one, and maybe that's because this had a degree of Paul Simon-ness about it. Quite sophisticated songwriting, nice melody, nice guitar, just really good.
This is for me. This is it's hard not to hear Otis Redding. Otis Redding, but I love this little track. This is Through the Echoes.
I'm always wondering what it would be like to die. She asks me why. I always smile when I feel like I'm gonna cry. She asks me why.
Me and Julio
down by the schoolyard. Yeah.
She's always offering me her hand, and I hear her coming.
Spot on, Barry.
Through the echoes, through the echoes, through the echoes, straight to me. Over and over, over and over.
Twin Atlantic, forgot about them. Capaldi, is he really singing in a Scottish? I think he's Anglified, Capaldi. I don't know. Maybe
sold out, you mean?
Well, I don't know. I think earlier on he was more sort of mid-Atlantic, but now maybe he's going back to Scottish. I'm not a huge Capaldi fan, so I need to go back and listen. That shaking, I'm not into it.
Up there shining when your belly's rumbling down the phone. When you ask
Eagles-ish.
Yeah, in that bit there, definitely a bit of Hotel California going on in there.
Yeah.
I haven't spotted that.
through the echoes, through the echoes, through the echoes, straight to you.
Oh, and yes, the Proclaimers.
Don't you worry.
I'm obsessed with this song.
Yeah, I get why. I've
been singing it so much in the house that Sarah started singing it and she's never heard it.
Okay,
it's a terrific song, isn't it? I mean,
yeah, really, really good, really good.
Then we're into
once again struck by his voice. Amazing range, absolutely amazing range.
And when he unleashes it, it's a weapon. It is a weapon, absolutely. The next one is one of the singles. Through the Echoes was one of the singles, and this was this is Acid Eyes.
Yeah, you see, I didn't really get on with this, and part of the reason that I didn't get on with this is that lyrics either need to tell a story or they need to be abstract. So, at one end of the scale, you've got the lyrics of Duran Duran, which you can try to post-rationalize to make sense of. And at other points, you've got the lyrics of Barry Manilow or Joni Mitchell that tell a really coherent story. And I just thought that this was largely just a bunch of words that happened to rhyme. I didn't really get
right. Okay. Okay. I got for those that have know a bit of jock rock, I got a bit of April Skies from this. I thought this might have been a little tribute to Jesus and Mary Jane. I'm not sure, but this is Acid Eyes.
I never told you I loved you. I never told you I loved you, and I looked into your acid eyes, into your acid eyes. I never told you I loved you. I never told you I loved you, and I looked into your acid eyes. You did the damage when you walked in the room.
King Creosote, brilliant.
My favorite tune. You did the damage, yes, done from the start. It's like you swallowed my heart. It's like you swallowed my heart.
Yeah, the best people are out. We could play along to this, Beth.
I never told you I loved you. I never told you I loved you, and I into your acid.
This just sounds like late 80s, early 90s Scotland to me. So it sounds like Glasgow.
Right. Okay.
One
So,
of
so,
those
so for that reason, this resonates with you
A little
more
bit.
than me.
Yeah, more than I can understand why it's a sort of Passover for some people, but this sounds like driving around in Glasgow or Paisley. Yeah, amazing. And then let's just go off at a tangent. So let's go out into the moors of Scotland and stand there in our pants or a kilt, right? And we'll hear Stranded Words interlude.
So this absolutely breathtaking.
Yeah, I thought you would like this.
Yeah. So this is the very best of what does it for me in the folk thing.
Yeah.
You know, that Dick Gaughan strong Scottish accent, just fantastic. Really fantastic.
Absolutely. If this guy, his boots are wet from the heather, he's standing looking out over
From
the
heather, you
and the
mean.
heather, and he comes out with this. After that beautiful little soft song, he comes out with this.
Maybe these are stranded words, for I cannot complain. And the riot at the sunset paints the color of the rain. I built my days on consequence, and now nothing's ringing true. But tonight I need you. The air, it feels like spring again. It always clears my thoughts. Like the saints become the sinners, the haves become the nuts. Have I shown you enough of me? You know yourself can be so hard to be. And tonight I need you.
So what do you think of that?
Beautiful.
You loved that, didn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, literally brought a tear to my eye.
Yeah, we were listening to this in the car the other day, and Sarah said, let's put this one off because I hate it.
Really?
Well, it's a bit kind of, yeah, she was quite happily listening to Through the Echoes and having a nice time. And this one was a bit kind of standing in the mud. Yeah, need to head off. Have a great weekend. Thanks, Beth.
This is talking about protesting social issues in the world,
Yes.
and about, you know, equality, and about all of those things that.
Yeah, we were off to see David Docherty in comedy, and she wanted to be uplifted.
Okay, yeah, that makes more sense.
Might
Now.
get her back into it later on.
For that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But fantastic. Odd that you should say that about being like a modern name's poet set a folk backing track. Yeah, absolutely lovely. The next track is, hold on a second, Lose It.
Lose It.
So he talks about 1796
Yeah.
in this, and only two things from my research, only two things of note happened in 1796, one of which was the death of Robbie Burns,
Right.
and one of which was the fact that Thomas Jefferson was defeated by John Adams, which obviously, if you've seen Hamilton, the musical, you would know. And those are the only two things that happened in the world that
You
year.
would kind of think that a Scottish poet like him would maybe veer towards the first one, right? That might be his thing.
But he doesn't reference it at all in the song, does he?
No, not at all. Not at all. And this is quite a... Well, someone tell me, there was an album by an artist a few years ago. It's been doing my head in for a week. And this track sounds very like tracks from that album. It's doing my head in. I'm nearly there. It's like on the tip of my tongue. Who is this? Hopefully I'm going to get it here.
It is a little bit U2, isn't it?
The music, yeah.
Take that wild rose thorn.
Oh, who is this?
Hey, baby, I'm the wild one. Yeah, baby, I'm the wild one. Is that it?
No, it's not the Who.
That's been
It's not Chesney Hawkes.
Yeah. Take those blue memories that you carry like a child. Take those heavy enemies and just lose it for a little while. Lose it for a little while. Lose it for a little
Right,
while.
not that.
Lose it.
But thank you.
Lose it for a little while. I could not seem to find a way out of my worried mind. Feeling I'd been left behind was bringing me down.
We'll maybe find it. That one builds and builds and builds, but it keeps on with that harmonica mic, talking, getting a bit more verbose, music building. It's quite a good track, but again, completely different in style and tone to everything else, right?
Yeah, and I think that was my issue with this, was the fact that there was such a broad brush of ideas, and it's almost like they'd been put in the pot, stirred around, and just poured out into the album rather than.
I think we've got 8 years worth of songs that he's pulled out.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe that's exactly what's going on.
He's just chucked them in. This album in its left and right Tron style turns is no better explained than going between this track and the next track. So this is Lose It. Put on your tight white slacks, because we're going to a club with stripy shirts and Jimmy Kimmel and not Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon and Will Ferrell with their tight pants on, because we're going for a 60s shindig with Petrified in Love, which this song cheers me up. Pure 60s. You can imagine the blonde bobs.
Do you think this is 60s? You see, I didn't. This for me was Elvis Costello. A little bit of punk rock in here as well. But this is Elvis Costello, I think, for me.
Oh, really? So I got pure like ladies and gentlemen from on live on Johnny, what was it? Johnny what?
Johnny Carson.
On the Johnny Carson show tonight, all the way from Englandshire, it's Paulo Nutini with Petrified in Love, and everybody like this.
Yeah, I see that.
I love this. It's cheered me up so much this week, this song. It puts a skip in my step.
Yeah.
Listen out for the little the little Dwayne Eddy. There's not enough of them. There's only one.
Yeah.
Before each chorus, there should have been a few.
We were just kids in our new day. No illusion could defeat me. I was your man, then you held me so tight.
Ramonesy kind of. Yeah. Okay.
Of the
Funky.
sorrow that the world brings with tomorrow. Never lonely, two hearts in the night. Oh, I was petrified in love. Petrified in love. Petrified, electrified in love. In love.
Is this what Ross and Monica did the routine to?
Yes.
The routine. Have you been practicing?
Right in and out of you. Right onto everything.
It's just pure joy.
Yeah, it is fantastic. As
Yeah.
you said, it's really uplifting. But I think again, and I keep circling back to this concept, this is a bunch of random songs done on the album of varying degrees of brilliance, because the next one, it begins like a cowboy ballad,
Yeah.
and then it turns into a bit of a Motown belter further on.
Bit of an Otis Redding.
Yeah, but it
Sitting
begins
in
with
the
that,
morning sun.
yeah, but at the start, there's we're all sitting around the campfire strumming a guitar and singing.
Yeah,
a whistle.
let's hear it. This is everywhere. Yeah, the Elvis Costello bit makes complete sense now.
Over my body, under my skin, I can feel you. Creeping in, I can feel you. Slowing down and moving around. You held my body in your control when my body was breaking down, but my body is coming round to its end.
Let me just show you how this ends up, because this is.
Oh, I love you. It feels like you're everywhere.
Whew.
Yes.
Sometimes it feels like you're everywhere.
I read a review today saying that he's channeling his inner Rod Stewart on this one. I think he could leave Rod Stewart for dust.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm quite a Rod Stewart fan. But
Oh, you're a Rod Stewart fan?
Yeah. Like, I've seen him in concert. Amazing.
I do quite like Rod's voice, but this guy is. I wouldn't say he's a better singer.
What this guy needs is he needs his fifth Beatle, doesn't he? He needs a manager that understands music and can channel him into the place to be his best version of what he's doing here.
Yeah.
Because at the moment I think he's taking on too much, and as is often the case with musicians and sports stars as well, they don't understand where their strengths are in a lot of cases.
Because they're too busy being an artist.
Exactly. And he needs somebody to say, no, forget that. You need to do it like this.
Yeah. I think if you were to say that, you would probably say do more of the next track, Abigail. I thought this might have been right up your alley.
Indeed. Up my boulevard. And now I thought, further to whose comment was it earlier that said about the Proclaimers?
Yeah, it was Yayan said no one's mentioned the Proclaimers, I think.
Okay, so this is from Sunshine on Leith. It's Saturday night. It's Saturday night.
I love when you do Groundskeeper Willie. I think it's brilliant.
Absolutely.
Right. I got a bit of Johnny Cash.
That's not a bad thing. I love it.
No, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. I got a bit of Johnny Cash from this.
Yeah.
I don't have much luck these days, with far too much time.
Jim
Lost
Reeves.
a lot of my rhythm.
Yeah, but it's the Scottish accent that means that it
Yeah.
keeps coming back to being Charlie and Craig, doesn't it?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. He's wistful of a life of domestic bliss with a wife and kids. Lord, I want to get happy before I get old.
And then I'll fly away, brother, float away like a bird.
I see what you mean about the Johnny Cash thing, though.
Yeah, yeah. You can see, you can hear Johnny Cash
Yeah.
doing a more maybe a bit faster.
When your mind gets too narrow and your nose gets too wide, I breathe and I'm trying in my cauldron tonight. Know a part of me's dying. There's a part called my life. 'Cause I had a dream last night that you were beside.
Worth listening to that one in your own time, because it's a lovely little song. It really is.
Yeah. So the next one, Children of the Stars, the intro is pure Oasis, isn't it?
Well, I put down pure Beatles.
Same thing, isn't it?
Well, or whoever the Beatles were copying to get the sound of that track that I think it sounds like. That's a joke. Yeah, it's very Britpoppy kind of.
Yeah.
And the sunshine.
Woman of wonder, gone into the night. All is being forgiven for the first and the last time.
I get 70s hippie from this Woodstock.
Yep.
Carly Simon-ish.
A little bit Cat Stevens in how he's using his voice.
Cat Stevens, yeah, totally.
While their old friends scream out their names, and she says, we're all just children of the stars. Cover girl, cover boy, you are not to blame. No.
Yeah.
Woman of wonder, gone into my soul in your opium apparition.
The dawning of the new age.
God is sure of you can divine to a man in mind.
But you see, this is the problem with the album, isn't it?
The leaves
That
are brown.
You've gone through going, oh, and that sounds like, oh, and this sounds like, and that sounds like, and that's the problem. Except the next track, which is dreadful.
Dreadful. This is Heart Filled Up, right?
Yeah, it's just a dirge.
A dirge.
It's just awful. Yes, and you're absolutely right about this.
Very George Harrison.
Very George Harrison.
Let's hear that. Yeah.
Nice sweet
Oh,
love.
yes. Especially from the Traveling Wilburys or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Heart Filled Up has been described as his kind of Stone Roses one by some critics. Don't think it's great.
Heart filled up.
Because it's just like it all the way through. There's no variation in rhythm or melody or anything. It's a bit like a sort of Scottish equivalent of Lee Marvin singing "I Was Born Under a Wonderful Star."
That's his little shoegazy moment. Just give him it. Then he gives us Shine a Light. I think this one's for the concerts. A little Talk tribute. I think I got Talk from this.
Yeah, so Bruce Springsteen I got from this. And then just before 2 minutes, definitely U2. Definitely.
It's such a shame. It's such a shame because have you noticed what we're doing on this album? We normally dissect the music. And occasionally we're talking about his voice every now and then, but mostly we're talking about who it sounds like. That's not what we usually do on this show, but we're kind of forced to do it because it kind of does.
It is. But I think in fairness, what he's done is he's picked some fantastic performers, whether that's Scottish people like Dick Gaughan and the Proclaimers, or whether or not that's Johnny Cash, and he's taken elements out of the style of those people that he obviously finds inspirational, and he's folded that into his music.
And done it quite well.
because it isn't theft. This is not what
No.
Oasis have done to
It's like tribute.
Exactly.
How are you? Let's dance like there's no one here. You say you want a lover and you need them now. Under the cover of the lost you're found. Been dancing with the devil with your perfect smile. How are you? Let's dance, baby, oh let's dance, baby, oh let's dance, baby, on your own. Are you feeling so alone? Shine a light, shine a light.
Imagine all the phones going at that point, maybe.
Yeah, and you could definitely hear a bit of edge going on in there, can't you?
Yeah, pretty much. Then we're into this. I'm angry with myself because I don't do this on the show. Now I've just got Talk, The Cooks, Blondie.
Blondie is what I put down for this one. Yeah.
So I'm angry with myself. So a poppy little indie track, fruitfully titled "Desperation." Blue Nile. Wow.
Yeah.
Can you think of, because Joe's, I would say Joe's a wee bit younger than me. We're kind of probably in the same bracket of when ticking boxes. Can you remember anyone who didn't have a copy of A Walk Across the Rooftops in Glasgow?
Yeah.
Or anywhere else?
Anywhere else, yeah.
Yeah.
Call me.
What'd you say?
Call me.
Call me.
Desperation is a friend at hand, the reach for touch in this arid land. Oh, but you know what you do.
Good one, Andrew, yeah.
And you dance in shoes, oh you, so good at writing tomorrow. You do anything you want to. Desperation is the things we miss. It's the asteroid, it's a final kiss. Desperation is a...
That's like a wee album track on an indie band's album for me. It's okay.
Yeah.
There's nothing offensive about it. It's not brilliant. It's all right.
Yeah.
Kind of libertinesy. And then we get to everyone in Scotland has at least 4 copies. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Now I've put down a little Gilbert and O'Sullivan-esque ballad.
Yeah, so I thought that this was the Beatles morphing into a bit of Phil Collins with a sprinkling of Barry Manilow. And I mean that from a good, because Barry Manilow's a great songwriter and a great.
Oh my goodness, one of the best in the world, yeah.
So I think it's good, but again you can see the influences.
Julianne, I saw you pass by my window, and believe me, I know I won't see.
I see what you mean about the Gilbert
O'Sullivan.
Yeah.
Julianne, I guess it's true. It's just what we do. But tonight,
the moment I met you, I swear.
Lennon-esque. Imagine there's no people.
Never mind that time.
So that's him doing his little Lennon tribute. Take
Now,
me,
I
take
think
mine.
at this point, for me, there is a very strong upward surge towards the end. So I think
Very good.
The next track begins quite Keen-like. I and I like that. And then it moves into what for me is the high point of the album.
Right. Okay. Cool. So when I was listening to this song, I was thinking, well done, Paulo. You have shown that you can do a beautiful storytelling ballad. I could actually imagine George Michael doing this. It's got a kind of light jazz feel to it, isn't it? He's very good in the sensitivity world, isn't he? He's quite happy with sensitivity. Yeah. Pretty cool.
Float out into the storm like a pair of blinded birds. Don't spill me or leave me alone in your tree. Never thought it would look like this.
This is perfect late at night in a smoky jazz club music.
Yep, leaning on the grand, baby grand.
No, there's no place that I'd rather be. Lost in your resplendency. When you cannot find peace of mind, take me, take mine.
Such a talent. Songwriter, poet, singer.
And I think Joe hit the nail on the head here.
An homage to.
Absolutely true.
Yeah. And if you look upon it like that, it's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
You cannot find peace of mind. Take me, take mine.
Beautiful song. And then we head in, I can't believe we actually got here in the time that we've done it. A single malt in the hand, yeah.
You got so cavalier, replaying mistakes and
Maybe in the lesser clubs in the breaks in the music, it would be Taxi for Slessor. With the owner of the green Fiesta AUR 50X, please move it, you're blocking the fire escape.
though I cannot deny.
And then we're into the last track, and boy, oh boy, can this man write a ballad.
Yeah, so I thought again, I was picking up so much in terms of the delivery of this, the Dick Gaughan way of doing things.
Yeah.
You know, really hammering home the message. Fantastic, proud to be Scottish voice. Beautiful.
Yep.
Excellent.
Writer is the last track, 16 of Late Night in the Bittersweet by Paulo Nutini. Oh, you must love this.
Yeah.
I am your writer who bleeds indecision, your lover, your waiter, your saddest addition, your fighter, your taker, your old patience breaker, your mover, your shaker, the one who can make you feel like a giant in the morning and so little by noon. First you're drowning in sunrise, then you're froze on the moon. Oh baby, I'll promise that I'll never change. Hell, I'll tell you I will, but I'll still stay the same.
Love that line.
And I'll pray to the angels that you'll see the signs, and they'll glow like a warning and shine through the wine, and they'll scream through the ecstasy and howl through the snow. And I'll hand you my ganja and off I will go. And then I'll be a memory of your dodgy decisions, your ex, your old sex, your old weather tradition. And you'll no longer kiss me, or hate me and miss me, or have to defend me, or teach me, or risk me, the one who reminds you of stark imperfection And how when you want to you can't change direction. Oh baby, when I call you saying that I've changed, don't believe I work, 'cause I'll still be the same. And I'll pray to the angels and beg them to hear me, that despite how I'd like it, that you won't come near me. And I'll dream of the ecstasy I used to feel, from the startling surprise to the sweet slow reveal. And how I understand you now that I've lost you. And I wanna thank you for all that it's cost you, for being the most beautiful part of my life, and for holding me close and wiping my cheek and slapping me up when I get too weak, and for touching my skin and biting my lip and spitting me out and breathing me in and telling me that everything's gonna be.
Fantastic, right?
Yeah, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And you know that I love it when albums save a real gem till the end.
Yeah.
Some albums kind of go out in a they sort of fizzle out like a pop balloon. Not this, absolutely lovely.
Now the thing is, I do wonder, in this we opened it up by your thoughts that maybe he still hasn't found what he's looking for, right? So we get,
He has at the end of this album though.
maybe he has at the end.
Yeah.
So does that then disappoint the people who like Petrified in Love, and who like him doing Otis Redding, or like him doing the more sort of shoegazy stuff? Or do we think that actually he's destined to just dip in and out of all these genres, and actually that's okay?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know much about the guy, but the sense that I get is that he's a true artist. You know, he's following his own destiny. So he's not playing to the stalls. You know, he's doing what he wants to do. And I think that he's obviously got a lot of influences and a lot of talent. And it's like, you know, if you're a school and you can only do one thing, it's pretty obvious where your life's heading.
Yeah.
If you're at school and you can do everything, you've actually got a series of choices to make, and it sounds like he's in that camp, really.
Yeah. So that was Late Night at the Bittersweet, in the Bittersweet, fourth album from Scottish singer Paulo Nutini. I think that goes on our, that was a good album, Shelf.
Yeah, it was, and even listening to it again today, I'm liking it more. So you know, am I taking this on the desert island with the other 9 albums? No,
Probably not.
No. What I am doing though is I'm going to listen to this again, and I'm going to watch out for him, and you know, listen to his future stuff with great interest and look forward to it.
Yeah, very good, very good. Not a bad afternoon's work then. And I'm glad I brought it to the table, and I'm glad it was well received. So that is cool. The question is now, in the dying minutes of the show, where are you taking us next week?
Well, as I said to you before we went online, I have struggled with this week, and I've kind of been on a number of kind of journeys myself thinking about this. So I mentioned
past.
I mentioned Dick Gaughan a few times. I would love to do A Handful of Earth by Dick Gaughan, but to be frank, I think that most people aren't ready for that as a journey because it's quite challenging. In light of what went on in the news this week, I was thinking maybe a bit of M People. You know, so moving on up, you know, and you know why that's in the news.
We know. Yeah.
Elegant Slumming, or better still, Bizarre Fruit 2. And I thought, no. And then I thought, what other things of that period? So I thought Violator, Depeche Mode. I thought Mezzanine, Massive Attack. I thought Surfer Egg, Dead Can Dance.
Yep.
And then I thought, no, I'm going to give you a choice of two.
No.
So I'm going to give you the choice.
It's always a hospital pass.
No, you'll be okay with either of these, I suspect.
Okay.
So the first choice is something much earlier than those things.
Right.
It will be the only compilation album we've done, which is Best of Bread, Volume 2, containing great songs like Guitar Man and Everything I Own. So that would be good. And also one that you'll be very familiar with, The Hard Line, Terence
Terence
Trent.
Trent D'Arby.
Yeah. So you
Love a
can
bit of Terence. Let's do that.
fine. Well, I'm perfectly happy with.
Is that the first album?
It is.
Oh, come on. I mean, it's just, I mean, they extended the tube because they were so amazed by this young guy. They cancelled ACT and said, "You're not appearing tonight. We're getting another one from him."
Yeah.
He's phenomenal. Dance, little sister.
Yeah. I mean, I just love his work.
Is
I
that
mean,
da, 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 da. I'm
yes.
wishing well. Da, 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 da. I remember him coming onto the scene and the world stopped and stared at their TV. I think there was just like cups of tea just being poured onto. He was in that grey
Yeah.
suit, chopped off at the waist, and just, I mean, first time performing live on TV, and he just took everyone, and everyone suddenly became a fan.
Yeah. And although he's an interesting individual who has had some challenges, but I mean, the first album was amongst the best first albums of all time.
Oh yeah, I've got the second album. That's more challenging. Listen.
Yeah, it is. I didn't warm to that in quite the same way, and maybe that's just because you'd already had a song.
He went completely out there for the second album. I am neither fish nor flesh. And if he just kept on a bit with this sort of modern soul and branched off a little bit, people would have loved it. I think he would have been a massive, massive star. I think he's changed his name now and everything.
He has, yes, and yes, very, very interesting individual.
Hardline, according to TTD.
A great album. So we'll do that. Everyone in the audience, thank you so much. Great questions and great fun this week. Not
absolutely.
the way we would normally do a show, but great fun. Eric, thank you for bringing that album. Absolutely fantastic.
My pleasure.
See you all next week, and goodbye.
Goodbye.